Hey guys, Nick here with ILTS, and today I'm just going to go over a Pfister Fullerton Toilet. We purchased this at Lowe's in Canada about 6 months ago, just with our home renovations we've been doing and stuff. Still working on it. Just installed the toilet. Got the showers done, but I needed to install the toilet in the basement because the tile leading upstairs needs us to take out the toilet up there. We need a toilet in the house while we keep working in here. So anyways, installed this Fullerton Pfister toilet, and every time you turned on the water with it, it was not sealing properly. So I took it off a few times, checked the ring gasket at the bottom. There's no troubleshooting tips, but if you go on Pfister's website about this toilet, there's 2 negative reviews on it, and both the reviews are basically just complaining how the toilet kept running and running and running as soon as they bought it and installed it. So what it looks like is that Pfister has made this cable right here too short, and in their instructions, they don't even talk about this. Like, it says that you literally click this into here. There's a little piece that I'm going to show you right away, and that's it. But in reality, this came in its own bag. We had to install it, and it didn't say anything about it. It doesn't talk about in the instructions how the settings for the half fill and for the full fill. This is the full on the front here. You can see that red tab. And then you have the half fill that you can adjust on the side here. And this was pulling up just ever so slightly on the valve, causing it to do essentially this. And the whole idea here is that it goes into this mechanism. Goes into this mechanism right here. Now, the instructions actually show that you click in this side right here, and on the top it says side A, and then side B, it shows in all the instructions for this thing that there should be a hose that actually connects into it on this side, and then when you twist it, that's what pulls that cord. But they've somehow have a second system in here where it gets installed into the bottom here, and I'm gonna have to try and install it again. You can see that there's the 3 grooves on this thing to match the 3 little grooves in here. But I really think that Pfister has made the cable on these Fullerton toilets too short, and it has been pulling up ever so slightly on the gasket and not creating a perfect seal. Lowe's Canada isn't even selling this anymore. It's still on Pfister's website, but even if you go to Lowes.com, none of the do-it-yourself hardware stores are actually even carrying this anymore. So not sure why it's still on Pfister's website. Obviously, there's some issues with this. I'm going to see once I install this thing back onto the end of the cable here if I can get it to sit how it is right now, because right now it's perfect. It's full. It's full of water. And if I pull up on the tab on this cord right here, it will drain it. When I let it go, it's able to drop down and it'll fill up fine, but I just don't think that they left enough slack, because I'll see if I can get it to sit in here. It's just I'm sitting on the toilet and I don't want to drop this foam, so give me a second here. Okay. So as you can see inside, there's a little latch for this, and then essentially what happens is that square goes on to the end here, and then when you hit the knob, it moves this whole system on a hinge and pulls on that little cord. But I just don't think that they left enough cable on this thing in order for this thing to sit true and flush on the seal. So yeah, we'll put it back on and go from there. Okay, so it is in the groove exactly how it needs to be. So when you close this thing up, there's like one little plastic piece that goes underneath. It popped out because there's so much tension on it. It'll fill up again. So yeah, the other problem though is this. So at the top of this, there's a little nipple that matches in with that little groove right there. And in order to move this up one notch, I'm gonna have to modify the white piece of plastic to be able to be a bit wider in order to take the larger diameter of the ring right below that little kind of nipple cut. So it's kind of annoying, really annoying actually. When you're spending over $300 Canadian on this toilet, that's what it retailed for. And this is the quality and the quality control of the product that they're putting out. It's garbage, so it wouldn't surprise me if these were all discontinued or all of the major supply chains, department stores, whatever, decide to stop carrying it because there's probably so many returns on this. Like, no one's going to do this. Absolutely no one's going to take this thing apart to get down to the nitty gritty of it. And you shouldn't have to. Like I said, for a toilet that retails for over $300 Canadian, unacceptable. It really is. So I'll get this all fixed up and turn this thing back on when I've got it going, and show you guys how it looks and how it's flushing after I make this little modification of grinding out that little piece to be able to take a larger ring. Be right back. Okay, so I took just a straight razor and literally just carved it out on both sides. You can see it's not perfect, but it should do the trick. I'll grind it down a little bit more just to get that last little burr off the outside and that one little bump off this side, and go test it out, but that should work. Okay, so I ground it out a bit more. Gonna see if I can get it to focus. Just ground out the far one, but when you look at it from here, it's pretty much bang on. And it's obviously not machine perfect, but doesn't need to be. Just needs to be able to sit one higher. So that should be good. We'll go test it out and see if it's going to work. So I have trimmed back that one piece that I was showing in the video that I was cutting out. I was able to get the cord to fit in there perfectly. I would highly recommend not opening that more than a couple of times. The plastic tabs on it are super fragile. Well, cheap as whatever you want to put in there. It would be the optimum phrasing for it. Yeah, for the price and for the quality of the parts, this toilet is garbage. It really is. But luckily, cutting out that little groove allowed the cord to go in one more slot, and I was able to close it back up. You can see that there's no water leaking out. And it flushes just perfectly. So this is the half flush. And full flush. Well, let's not break the toilet seat before we even use the toilet one time. Yeah. So it's working as it should. If you have this toilet and you're having issues with it flushing or it's not seating properly, that's probably the culprit. Hope this video was helpful. I wouldn't recommend this toilet unless you need it for a toilet in a small space where there's limited wall space from the toilet flange to the rear wall. This one requires a minimum of 12 inches. I literally had 12 inches to center, and you can see just how it's not touching, but it is hella close. So if you need one for that, I mean, for a basement bathroom, these side mounts where it mounts into the bottom piece that mounts onto the toilet flange, they're a little bit finicky. If you want something a lot stronger, obviously get a toilet that mounts directly into the floor, but I really didn't want to be dealing with that with the porcelain tiles. They're just so damn hard to drill through, and I didn't want to screw them up. So with this toilet, you don't really have to worry about that with the floor bolts. And at least this thing's working, and I don't need to get Pfister to send me out a bunch of replacement parts now. But now if anything goes wrong with it, well, they'll probably blame the fact that I tampered with it, but it's all on video what I did and why, and it's not my fault that they decided to manufacture a dual flush valve with a cable that was too short and didn't quality control enough. So like I said, I'm Nick with LTS. I hope this video was helpful for you. And if you like this video, click on the like button below, subscribe, and check out some of our other videos. Thanks a lot.